Welcome to You Gotta Meet Her podcast. As always, I'm your host, Christine Barr, and I'm a blogger, transformation and relationship coach, and I hold the title of mother and wife. If you are coming back because you are a regular listener of the podcast, welcome and thank you so much for your support. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. If you have the ability to, can you please like and subscribe and leave a review on the podcast wherever you're listening? This allows others to find these awesome stories that have been told, and they can find a way to have some common ground as well. Every season, I like to have a theme. We have had so much fun deep diving in all these different themes, and this season, we're going to be talking about friendships. What makes them work? What kind of way do you show up as a friend, and how can you become a better friend? All this is paired with our Facebook group, You Gotta Meet Her podcast group, and the Meet Me Monday challenges and the weekend challenge questions that are in the group. So you get to connect with other people and see all the other answers that are out there, and maybe you find a friend. Something different this season is I'm going to be having some small self-reflection bonus episodes that will help you deep dive into your own relationships or friendships. You can share them with your friends or even journal about them and just kind of meditate on how you show up in your friendships. Are you ready to meet some great women to see how they have friends, how they show up as friends, and the reason why I say you gotta meet her? Welcome to You Gotta Meet Her podcast. I'm Christine Barr, and today we're talking with Alex. Alex is a friend of mine, a social media friend, which I think we forget that people on social media are actual people on the other side because we do it all day, every day. You know, we all freaked out when Facebook went down for 6 hours. Was it Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram? All of it went down and everybody's like, oh my God. Yeah, but there are other people on the other side of that. And I actually met Alex on a mother website. It's like Tinder for moms. And I don't know if you remember, Chelsea, the dreamer on season 3, told me about the whole app thing. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to hoe it up on that app. And I did, I'm not going to lie. And I found some amazing people on there. And Alex was one of them. She made a post on Facebook not too long ago. And it was just her giving some love to her best friend, and I'm like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? It's about friendship and I need to know about this. And she's like, hell yeah. So we got her on. She's going to be season 4, episode 1. I'm so excited. And please stay to the end, because if you are like I am, you cry at friendships, and if Anna Green Gables was your jam, if Anne with an E and Diana were your go-to friendship group, you're gonna love this. You have to stay to the end because she hits me and I start crying and she's crying and it's just good. Anyways, please meet Alex. All right, today we are talking with Alex. Alex, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi. Let's see. My name is Alex. I am a mom to one awesome little 7-year-old girl named Harper. I have been married for almost 6 years. My husband's name is Mark. He is fabulous. He looks like Jason Statham. So there's nothing wrong with that there. I love bearded men. They're very hot.
But everybody's going to be like, I got to go see what he looks like.
That's fine. Bombard his Facebook. He never gets on it anyway, so he'll never know.
Okay, yeah, I love that. So are you originally from here in Texas?
I am. I was born and raised in Texas. I was born in Irving. I kind of grew up around Dallas, and I graduated from Rowlett High School.
Oh, wow.
moved
You're just
to
all over.
go to college, and now somehow I'm in Anna, all the way up by Oklahoma. So
Yeah. Okay. So your family life, like how was that? Like how was, like, are you the oldest? Are you the youngest? Are you the middle child?
I am an only child. I do have two half siblings, but I am not close with my biological father. My mom and him were never married, and him and I have never had a very good relationship. We tried to reconnect about the time that I was getting married, and it just did not work out. There were underlying circumstances, and things just got really heated at the wedding and at the rehearsal dinner. And after that, we have not spoken. So it's been quite some time. As far as my family life growing up, my mom was married to a dentist. He was a very difficult man to live with. He was a narcissist. He was possible, quite frankly.
Yeah.
He always said he never wanted children, and I was made to understand that. It was more of a be seen and not heard type of lifestyle, which was quite hard being a very eccentric kid. I'm a Gemini, so
Yo, Gemini. Woo-hoo.
I love to talk. I love to communicate. I just love going out and being around different people. That's how I get energized. And it just, I guess I could say my life was kind of cut short in many aspects because of who he wanted me to be on the outside and who I was really on the inside.
Yeah.
So their marriage was quite tumultuous. He ended up he ended up sleeping with my best friend, and that is why my mom divorced him.
Okay, so there's so many things. There's so many things I want to like double click and like open up. Like, okay, wait, whoa. All right. Okay, so before I ask any more questions, what is your ethnicity and your racial background?
I'm Caucasian, 100%. Okay. I do have lots of Cherokee and Choctaw Indian in me. Yeah. And quite enough to where it was recognizable on the 23andMe gene tag,
wow.
whatever that they do. So yeah, I have quite a bit of that. But other than that, just, a Texas girl.
Okay. Okay. So I always ask that question. I wanted to make sure I got that out of the way before I forgot. And so back to your home life.
Yeah.
So your bio dad did go to your wedding.
Yes.
But there was just a whole bunch of stuff that was happening there that you were like, okay, like maybe this isn't the best relationship for me.
Well, he actually told my mom that he wished he didn't have to come to my wedding, and broke my heart. My mom is my best friend, and he was supposed to walk me down the aisle that day. And she told me the day before, she said, look, we tell each other everything, and this is just something I can't hide from you, because if you find out that I knew this and I didn't tell you, I fear that you will never speak to me again. And she was absolutely right. I would have never forgiven her if she would have kept that.
Right.
So he basically called me irresponsible and said that, just said a whole bunch of other things that I can't really remember at this time. But the gist of it was that he wished he didn't have to come from Iowa down to Texas to my wedding. And that just kind of, set me off. I never asked him for anything growing up. I never, requested that he be more a part of my life. I never really demanded anything from him except for this one thing. And the fact that he was just so selfish that he was still thinking about himself at this time, when it was the only time I ever asked him to put me first. He couldn't do it.
Right. And I want to speak on that a little bit, because people, and I get this, especially when it comes to sexual abuse and abuse of any kind in a relationship, it cracks me up when people haven't had the experience, but yet they want to tell you how to feel.
Exactly.
It's kind of like let me tell you what it reminds me of. When you're like 24, you're like, my kids are never gonna do this, and you've never parented. Oh my God, someone shut that crying baby up, and it's like,
oh my God, I hate little humans. Why is that mom shopping right now? Her baby is crying. Take that baby out. You don't need groceries.
Yes, it makes me think of that. Like, if you have a great relationship with your parents, it's like, oh my goodness, like, why can't you guys just forgive and keep on going? And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, if you have not had that type of, and I use the word broken, but estranged with a parent, the one thing you don't realize is that no matter what a parent can do, and this is psychology wise, a kid still wants the love from the parent,
Oh, wholeheartedly,
right?
100%.
Right. And so that longing, that love is always there. So if just because y'all might not be talking or whatever happened, you still wanted that. You're like, I haven't asked for anything. I'm just asking for one thing. And if you it's a weird dynamic. So I applaud you for that.
Well, thank you. It was quite difficult because there was one part of me that yearned for this relationship with my bio dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was raised by my stepfather for 19 years. And so at the same time, my question in the back of my mind was, why can't he love me too? Why
Mm-hmm.
no, why can no man love me like a child? Why do I not
Mm-hmm.
have someone who wants to be my father, And I grew up with friends who had step parents that treated them just like they were their own children.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I thought always that something was wrong with me and that men couldn't love me. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to change myself to become more adaptable to what they want.
Yes. So what
And
were some things you changed?
some things that I tried to change were the way that I approached people just in general. I tried to
Mm-hmm.
quiet myself. I tried to
Ooh.
lower my expectations of other people. I tried to lower my expectations of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to adapt to a world that I thought I wanted to be a part of, when in reality, there was this whole other world and this whole other dynamic of love between people that I had not been presented to. I had no idea it even existed. And then
Right.
I met Mark, my husband, and my world turned upside down.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it crazy that they can do that for us? Like
Oh
they
my,
can hold the daddy space without having daddy issues.
yes. And he's okay with my daddy problems, man. Like he accepts it. He knows it. He knew it from the
Yeah.
beginning. He knew I was crazy before he asked me to marry him, and he still married me, damn it. So
Yeah, like I just find that so exciting. First of all, you're getting me right off of boot camp. So I had did marriage and life boot camp this past weekend. And so now I'm like in my feels. And I'm like, oh my God, like I want to ask all these questions. So with your husband though, like did you tell him all of this? Like how did he feel? Like did you say, hey, I have a bio dad, but my stepdad's also not holding the space that I need for me. I'm gonna need your help in this, or was it kind of like he stepped up for it?
he stepped up for it completely. It was more of like I would use him as a sounding board for my emotions and my feelings. And he took it upon himself to try and fill that void for me. And he tried
Mm-hmm.
to love me the best that he could. He tried to support me in everything that I wanted to do and everything that I wanted to be. He never told me no. And I don't mean that in a sense that he let me have free range with every decision that I made. I
Right.
mean, as in the way that he let me be who I needed to be and who I was always destined to be. And
Mm-hmm.
he didn't even know who that person was going to be at the time. But he said, man, let's just
Right.
fucking do it. Like
Oh
I'm
my God. I'm gonna cry. That's so sweet. That's so sweet
I
that
lucked
he
out.
understood that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And that he saw that within you.
Oh yeah. He sees a
Yeah.
lot more in me than I see in myself. And I think that's what brought us together, was that he really
Mm-hmm.
showed me who I am as a person and the things that I should be proud of and the things that I should, boast about myself rather than
Mm-hmm.
trying to quiet myself like I had been doing for so long. He was like, those are great things. Don't hide those things from the world. The world is going to love those things despite what you've
Mm-hmm.
been told.
Right. Right. Why did you choose to quiet yourself? Like, what was the thought process? What was the belief behind that?
The belief behind me trying to quiet myself growing up was, well, really it was that I had no one to talk to. I mean, my
Mm,
mom she was around, but in a sense, she had been taken from me. He was very controlling of her. He did not allow her and I to spend one-on-one time together very often. I mean, he made quite a bit of substantial money and he forced her to work a job at his dental office for minimum wage so that she
mm.
could afford to buy things for me because he refused to spend his money on me.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So
he was basically saying, I'm married to her and you're just along.
Yes, and he told me that.
Okay.
Right when they first got together. I never wanted kids. I have a daughter of my own, but she's never around. I'm not going to be your father. Don't call me dad. I will never be your father.
Yeah. And how old were you?
When they got together, let's see, I was probably 5 or 6.
Okay. Oh, okay. So not the last episode of season 3, the next to last, I had my coach that came over on to the podcast, and something that really hit me was that she was like, all of our beliefs as people, women, men, a person, happen about the world by the age of 8.
Okay.
So it makes sense that if he's saying you need to be quiet, you need to be here, but you're not really here, I'm not going to be your dad at 6, it makes sense that when you're trying to look for love and you're trying to do all these things and you quiet yourself, because your belief was, oh, if 6-year-old Alex's belief is like, oh, if I'm quiet, then I'm desirable.
Exactly.
If I hire myself, quiet myself, or if I hide and I'm not being myself, then
maybe
I'm gonna be more, yeah,
that I'm looking for.
right. That is so crazy.
Yeah.
And as a mom, how has that changed your perspective on life?
When I got pregnant with my daughter, the first thing that I told myself was, she's never going to live a childhood like I lived. She will be loved, she will be boisterous, and she will be outlandish, and she will be outgoing, and she will be a force to be reckoned with, and she will be loved, and she will know it, and she will never wake up and question it.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted her to grow up feeling the way that I felt or yearning for someone to make her feel complete. I wanted her to love herself enough that she could complete herself.
Yeah. Do you think you're there now for you? Like, does Alex love herself?
Alex struggles.
Yeah.
Just like every other person, but I think that I've set myself up for success in many ways. I surround myself with people who lift me up. I don't have tons of friends, but the friends that I do have are my best friends.
Yeah.
And I make sure to surround myself with those who genuinely care about who I am on the inside and how I'm doing in life. And they don't care about the things that I say or the things that I wear or how loud I am or the fact that I say fuck all the time or they don't care about those things.
Right.
They just want to be around me. And growing up, I never had that. I felt like no one wanted to be around me. I was left alone. I mean, I was in 3rd grade and I would wake up to get ready for school in the morning and my mom and stepdad were already gone. And I would get home from school and they weren't home. They didn't get home maybe until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And I'm in 3rd grade, but I'm expected to have their bed made, their laundry done, the kitchen clean, and dinner made.
Wait, hold up. For them?
Yes. For them. And we had made.
I'm like, wait, hold up. Deep dive into that just a little bit. How was that presented to you? Was it like, these are your chores, or this is what is expected of you?
More so, we work, we make the money, you don't do anything. This is what's expected. This is what you will do. If you don't do it, there will be consequences.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question is because as a mom, you're a mom too.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, you need to start pulling your weight. You're of the age where you can start taking out the trash or unload the dishwasher. And it comes from more of a, I'm teaching you how to take care of yourself kind of person. Or, spot in love. Like, I know when I'm like, hey, like, you need to learn how to do this, because I told my son, no woman wants a man that can't do blank. Like, no real woman wants that, but at the same time, this was a lot. What 3rd grade is 7, 8 years old,
right?
And not having any siblings at the same time, you being an only child, I can see where that would be really difficult.
It was difficult, but it was mostly lonely because I still lived in a home with my mother. who was the only related person that I was close to within like a 2 hour, span
Right.
distance with around me. And, our relationship was really strained for quite some time because, I look back on my childhood now and I think, how was she okay with that? My
Right.
mom comes from a childhood of abuse. And to think, for me, for a long time, I felt she went through this. How did she not see it? How was she sitting there and watching him speak to me this way? How was she sitting there and watch him grab me by the neck and hold me up against the wall? Like, how is she letting him stick his middle finger in my face? And I'm 9 years old, he's calling me fat, he's calling me a pig, and you're just like standing there pretending like none of it's happening.
Right.
And it took me a very long time to understand that she was scared of him. Victims of abuse are scared, they tend to follow a pattern. And she ended up marrying the same type of man that she was abused by, the same type of man that her mother had married in the past, because that's all that she knew. So all she knew was to stand by and watch and to not intervene, because who knows what the fuck's going to happen if you tell this no or you tell him stop.
Right. Thank you for speaking on that, because that's another part of the abuse. If you've never gone through any type of abuse, that cycle doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, and then to go through, the emotional and the verbal abuse all mixed around with it at the same time, it confuses you when you're young,
Yeah. And it's easy to be gaslit. 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 Because it's, especially at that age, and then you think it's normal.
That is what I struggled with as a young adult, was thinking that was normal. I went through many relationships as a young woman, letting people control me, men control me. And they were jealous men, and they were, verbally angry men. And I thought that was what I deserved. I thought that was normal. And it took a very long time for me to step back and say, whoa, like, I'm following down this same pattern. And if I'm ever going to be myself and be happy, I have to break it, because I know what I want out of life, and I don't want to live like this forever.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, let me say you're amazing.
Thank you.
And for the listener, we met off of Peanut.
Yes, we did.
The friend app, which cracks me up because I was just talking to Chelsea. Chelsea's the one, she was on season 3. She told me about the app. And I told her, I was like, I don't know. I was a hoe when I was dating. I think I'm going to be a hoe on this app too.
Love that. A friend hoe.
Yeah, I'm a friend hoe. Like, okay, I want to see it. And then I was like, hey, like, you lived close enough to me, because, not everybody on there is going to be your friend. Not everybody on there do you see as a connection through pictures and bio. So, and I got married and was in a relationship with my now husband before like the big like online dating apps were a thing.
Okay.
Like, you had Plenty of Fish and you had like Match.com. Like, that was the only things that were out there, and I never got on those. So like, to be able to be on an app dating for women, for friends, is like,
it was really exciting. I mean, you kind of felt like you were in control. You were like, I get to swipe now,
Yes.
I get to see what I want in a woman that's going to empower me.
Exactly.
And lift me up. And like, you can tell so many things. It's surprising. You can tell so many things by a photo and by a few short lines in a bio, and then by having a conversation via text like you and I did.
Yeah.
It was a simple conversation, but just through those interactions, I found out so much about you. And, I found you on Facebook, and then we had mutual friends. And then I started digging into like what you really do. And like, girl, you're amazing.
Oh,
I just feel so lucky that I stumbled across you.
Yes. 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 I all of that plus more. And then I saw you were friends with Abby, and I was like, that's all I need to know. Like, Abby's one of my dearest friends. I've known her for a really long time. But when I saw that you were friends with her, I was like, okay, that's all I need to know about Alex. She's friends with Abby. Abby says she's good. I know, like, and that I want to transition into the friendship part. But okay, well, I kind of know the answer to this. Obviously, your best friend hooking up with your stepdad could be hurtful. Did you have any other places in your life where women hurt you in a friendship?
Yeah. I mean, I had what I considered a close group of friends in elementary school and middle school. But I, I don't want to be one of those people that says I was bullied, but I mean, I I was, I was mistreated by this group of girls, and it still affects me to this day. I still have nightmares about them leaving me out of
Mm,
situations as like in adult interactions. We're all
mhm.
grown in my dreams, but they're doing the same things to me. And they would start rumors about me. They would, make fun of my hair or my makeup or like, and I tried so hard to be a part of their group. I would invite them over to my house and, I just, things like that. And I struggled so hard to try and be what they wanted me to be in a friend, just like I was doing at home, trying to be what I was supposed to be as a stepdaughter or a daughter,
Mhm.
and I just
Mhm.
always failed. And it took me a long time to understand that the reason I was failing is because I was trying to be something that I was not, and it was just not working. Life was telling me this is not working for you, but I
Right.
was oblivious to that at the time.
Right. Right. So this is just echoing through your life
Hmm.
in all of your relationships. Is that what I
Definitely.
hear you saying? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. And I I'm a Gemini too.
ma'am.
And if you didn't know, I'm an extrovert.
No way. You?
Like in your face, puppy dog. I want to know everything about you. What are you doing? Why are you eating that for breakfast? Why do you brush your teeth like that? Like I
Fresh. Tell me. I need to know
yeah,
it all.
yes, that is my jam as a friend.
Yeah.
Um, but I have been in that situation, and I think it's really hard for extroverts because I think introverts are, and this is just my opinion, and I don't have, this is just my, I should say observation. Introverts are always wanting to be in it, but don't feel comfortable being in it,
Right.
or they want to be out of it, but they want to hear about it,
Exactly.
right? Like, I don't want to go, but I want you to come back and tell me everything that happened, right? Like,
And that's totally, I mean, you nailed that to a
right.
T.
That's an introvert to me,
Yeah.
right? And then an extrovert for me is, because I know I am one, is that not necessarily do I want to be in it, I want to be a part of it.
Yes.
I yes, I want to go to the concert, but I also want to help with the lighting, and I want to be like, oh my goodness, we did this over here, and what is happening? I want to pass out the flyers, and we are the people that want to not only be part of it, we want to be in it. We are it,
We're immersed in it as extroverts.
right?
Yep.
Yes. And so to have friends, the way you said, like I can totally see myself being in that same situation, having a good group of friends and changing myself to be part of this group of friends
Hmm.
at a young adult age. And I mean teenage age, or whatever it may be. And that is hard on an extrovert.
It's extremely hard, because there are so many natural things that come to a person who's extroverted, and to try and like change the intricacies of who you are as that
Right.
extroverted person, to kind of dumb yourself down for the people you're trying to fit in with, who in
Yeah.
reality really don't care if you're there or not. When you're like, I care, I'm here, like, let's
Right.
do this, I'm down,
Right. Yeah.
and then, for other people to not feel that, it's quite
Hmm.
hard growing up in situations like that.
Right, right. And I can only imagine, in validating for you, is like being an only child at the same time.
Hmm.
So it's like the friends that I have out here aren't really great, but they're inviting me, or I'm part of their group, but they're mistreating me. But
Yeah.
yet when I go home, I'm still alone in this situation where things aren't okay.
Hmm.
Like none of this is okay. So if you have never heard it, I want to say you're awesome, you're loved, you are good enough, and alone or not, you're stronger than what is in front of you.
Thank you.
And you can come in this circle anytime you want.
Girl, I'm already there. What are you talking about?
Like, if I don't hear from you for 6 months and be like, yo, bitch, I need a drink, I'm your girl. I totally get it. I totally get it. I'm not an only child, but I am the oldest.
Right.
And so that lonely feeling can happen. The youngest can feel lonely as well. So I know that people are going to resonate with that, despite what happens in their life or where they are, their past. And so thank you for sharing that. I just want you to know, if no one's ever told you, I'm telling you, you are good enough. And I wanted to talk to you before I knew all of this.
Wow, that means a lot to me, like as a woman, as a friend, as a person, who really wasn't told many, complimenting things growing up, even in like young adulthood, like to hear someone who, we've only had these conversations through social media and through the phone and like things like that. It's uplifting and it means a lot to me. It warms my heart.
Yeah. As Tori would say, I know when she listens to this, she's going to love it. When Tori says, badass bitches only fuck with badass bitches.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Right? I don't chill with people or want to talk to people that I don't see amazing things in. And the same for you.
Yeah.
Going into your friends with girls, like, have you ever had that experience where like you had to step back? Like, because you're an extrovert like me. It's like, I was in it. And then I saw her do something that was ridiculous. And now I have to step back from this relationship.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that. You don't have to say any names, but I want to hear the situation.
My college roommate. I actually met her through a girl that I went to high school with. I was living with her and our other friend who we had all three gone to high school together. Mm-hmm. We all had a falling out, and this friend that I was living with, their names was Ashley, and she had lived in the dorm with this girl who I had met, who ended up being my college roommate, and we were best friends for quite some time. We lived together for 5 years. We did everything together. And she started to develop a different lifestyle. She started to disappear a lot at night and on weekends. And, she came from a broken home, and both of her parents struggled with drugs and jail and things like that. And so she was someone who was on financial aid and who worked 3 jobs. She worked her ass off. I was so proud of her. And it went from having 3 jobs to having 2 jobs to having 1 job to having no job, but still having nice clothes and nice shoes and a new car and, new tires and new phones. And I'm thinking, how is this happening? And, she's coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And to find out she had started dancing. And which I was fine with. I'm all for, like women holding down their own, no matter what they have to do.
Right.
But when it got to a point to where I realized not only was she dancing, but she was escorting as well and putting herself in really difficult and dangerous situations, I had to take a step back from that because people were showing up at my apartment. And people were calling her and harassing her. And, she was scared and I was scared. And I had to take a step back from that situation, no matter how much I cared about her and how much I wanted to be there for her, to protect her, to, kind of guide her back to the light, to where we had been before as friends, where we tried to make it together. But she had outgrown me, I think, at that point, and the simplicities of the life that we lived.
Right. Which is always so hard.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult to see someone for so long blossoming from who they were as a child, and then to watch them kind of turn into someone you don't recognize anymore. It's a difficult transition to watch.
What gave you the ability to say, okay, I'm not in this lifestyle anymore. You weren't in it, but like, okay, I need to take these steps back. Obviously, the dangers that's coming to your home that you did not ask for. I know that could possibly easily be it. But, hold on a second. Let me preface this.
Okay.
A lot of women, especially like you, that is trying to fit in, trying to have these connections, know that if you like me for me, then we're good. Then that person that likes you for you starts acting crazy. How do you let go of that relationship? Like, what gave you the ability to say, I don't care about this friendship anymore, but like I really need to step back. I'm not okay with what's happening.
I think that moment was when the DEA busted down our front door because she was selling
Fuck.
drugs.
What? She was selling drugs too?
Oh yeah. And it deepened.
I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. Did not expect to have the door busted down. It was on my birthday too, and luckily I was not there. But
my God.
she never showed up for my birthday. She was, last I talked to her, she was jumping in the shower. She was going to drive from Denton to Euless. We were going to hang out, and she just never showed up, and I had no idea why until a few days later.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wait, if the DEA was on her, she was doing big time shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Great story. Sorry that it happened. But damn.
You know, I learned from it. I learned.
Wait, I was thinking, Alex, what did you learn from that?
Right. No, I learned that I needed to kind of just not always be in the middle of it, you know, like us extroverts like to do. I learned that there were certain situations that I just I had to look out for, you know, and not be so oblivious and not be so yearning for a relationship with someone that I didn't care what they were doing. And I didn't care how it affected me. And I didn't care that it affected my life because I was being loved and I loved in return. And that's all I ever wanted was to have someone love me the way that I loved them. And to have that, you know, but then to learn, oh my God, like, you know, this is some crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
You really just have to edit like what's going on in your brain. No.
Is that TikTok? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
I love that. And I love I want to go back to what you said. Like I had to learn that like even though I'm an extrovert, I want to be in it. That certain things I don't need to be in.
Yes.
Do you think that was like your first step in the right direction of being able to be your true self?
Absolutely. That is the defining moment. And when I started to turn around the situations in my life and my viewpoints on situations and on people and on relationships and friendships.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Because we forget like the steps, right?
Exactly.
Slow it down. Oh, she hurt me, so I'm not friends with her. And then the next comment is, this is why I have more guy friends than girlfriends. And I'm like, Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Right? Like, or I don't, women are bitches. No, the women you've been hanging around are bitches.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
My friends aren't bitches. Well, I mean, we're all bitches.
We're all, but like, they're good bitches. They're fun bitches. They're not crazy bitches, you know?
Yes, exactly. So tell me about your closest friendship right now. Tell me about your friends that you have right now.
Let's see. I have a handful of really, really great girls that I'm close with. My best friend, sister, soulmate, lobster, whatever you want to call her, is Jen. And we've been friends for quite some time. Our girls are both 7 and they're both best friends as well.
Oh.
And they probably talk more than Jen and I do. Like they come home from school and they FaceTime each other and they talk and play games and, you know, they're always on the phone. And then there's Emily. She lives here in town in Anna. She is a teacher. She is vibrant. She is exotic. She is strong and independent. And she is a go-getter, man. She just inspires me to keep proving to myself that I can do anything that I set my mind to, that I'm never too busy to do something that I enjoy.
Yeah. How did you find these ladies?
So I met Jen through Facebook. I met Emily through a daycare. Our daughters went to the same daycare at one point when they were 2. And so actually about 1.5 years, 2 years old. So I met her at the daycare. And then I have another friend, Andrea. I met her at the pool here in my neighborhood. And she is a feisty one. She is a fighter, but she fights for your heart. She really wants the best for you, and she doesn't take any bullshit, and she won't let you bullshit her. She holds you accountable.
Yeah.
And let's see, there's Melissa. I also
Mhm.
met her at the pool. She is quite shy. She's Cancer. She wears her heart on her sleeve. So she is like mother love and like everything you need when you just need to be hugged and embraced and not let
Aw.
go of. That's Melissa.
Yeah.
And she'll tell you to this day, we wouldn't be friends if I hadn't walked up to her and stuck my hand out and said, "Hi, I'm Alex. What's your name?" And she was like, "I'm Melissa. Hi." Like, who is this crazy lady at the pool talking to me right now?
Yeah.
And Melissa and I were actually really good friends during a time that I didn't have Jen in my life. And she not really replaced Jen, but she helped guide me through a difficult time where I was missing that part of life, that part of that relationship that Jen and I had. And she kind of helped guide me through, realizing that we meet other people in life for different reasons, and that it may not be what we're used to in a friend or in a woman or a close relationship, but everyone has something different to offer you, and what you're lacking here you can find somewhere else if you really do search for it and keep your mind open to it.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that, because I have this belief, because rewind. This whole podcast started with stereotypes. What is the stereotype that you're put in? What is the stereotype that you see yourself in? What are these stereotypes, right?
Right.
And how media distorts or builds our stereotype of what we are being seen as and how we see others.
Okay.
So if we have this stereotype that everybody's supposed to be like this, like a Friends episode, or New Girl episode, or whatever thing that you watch where there's a lot of friends together, we think that we have to be on the good with everyone that's in our crew.
Right.
Like, oh, she's my best friend, so we can't fight.
No, the most beautiful part of friendship is that you do fight, but you still love each other and come back together to fight. You're fighting because you love each other and because you have something to fight about. When there's nothing to fight about and nothing to talk about, that's when you need to worry.
Yeah. And to hear that Melissa was there for you when Jen wasn't there, it's nice to hear that you're able to articulate that, because it's like, it didn't mean that me and Jen didn't love each other. It didn't mean that we were like, I hope that she doesn't wake up tomorrow or something bad happens, like choke bitch. Like, it doesn't mean that. It just means she wasn't able to hold the space that I needed at that moment. And that's where I'm finding myself right now, is like, who can hold my space in the moment that I'm in right now?
Exactly.
Right. And so to know and be able to articulate that I'm not alone. Thank you for sharing that. You're helping me right now. That I'm not alone, that not every friend that I have can hold the space that I need.
Right. And you're exactly right. Every friend offers something different, and every friend can hold different space for you. And I think that's why it's so important to find the differences in people and to appreciate those differences and to not make comparisons between their differences and someone else's. Because at the end of the day, their differences can really make a big difference within yourself and within your own heart and what you're lacking, and even within what you assume that you need, but you don't know, you don't really need that. All you need is just an open mind, and someone else who can show you a different way to do things.
Hi, Christine Barr here, and I want to tell you about our podcast subscription. Yes, for $2.99 you can get access to subscriber-only episodes for that monthly subscription. So what are you going to get? You're going to get bonus episodes that are going to be about you. We've been talking with all these women, but what about you? Are you willing to transform and have different types of relationships and want that to translate from work and home and the relationships that you have with your kids, yeah, girl, we're going to put in some work. It's going to be like one-on-one coaching with me. Are you ready for that? So if you are, let's get it together. You can subscribe for $2.99 a month, and we're going to work together on your transformation and your relationships. Hi, it's Christine here, and I'm sorry to interrupt your podcast, but I really need to tell you something. It's about Anchor. They make it so easy for me to put this podcast on. Y'all, it's amazing. But let me tell you a few things about them so you understand why I'm able to do this. 1, it's free. Yes, it's super, super free. There's so many different things that you can do with it as well. You can use tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What does an open mind and friendship look like to you?
To me, an open mind and friendship is more so, you don't really care what that person is saying or doing in the moment. What you care about is how they're feeling, and you care about them in the most intrinsic way, down to their core. So much so that when they hurt, you hurt for them because you're so connected. And so you have to open your mind to the notion that not everyone is going to be the same type of friend to you, and you're not going to be the same type of friend to every friend that you have. Everyone requires something different, and you require something different from everyone that you meet, and you just don't know it until you start to really break down those walls and make those connections.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Praise hands, clapping. I always say I'm gonna get a soundboard. I got a little one and it didn't work, and I'm pretty sure it was user error.
Oh no.
It was fucking me. I had no fucking idea what I was doing with it. I was like, Amazon, what the fuck should I just buy? 2:00 drunk. So I'm just gonna keep saying my praise hands and claps and snaps because I can't figure out a soundboard. I did want to ask you, what kind of friend are you?
That's a good question. I try to be the friend that is always there. I want to be that person that will pick up the phone, whether it's 7:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, 10:00 at night. I want to be the person that you can trust with your secrets. And I want you to know that what you say with me stays with me. And, it's us, it's ride or die, until the, if I like you enough, they're going to have to bury me in the coffin with you. If my husband,
Yeah.
I try to be what I want out of other people. I try to reciprocate the feelings and the things that I need from others, and turn that into, the type of person that someone would want in their life. That's all I really want to be, is to be someone that you want in your life, and someone not necessarily that you need, but that you choose to place there because I have something to offer you.
Yeah. In a non-sarcastic way, how is that working for you?
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have tons of friends, but the friends that I do have are my best friends, and they all know each other. And sometimes we do all hang out, but they are not all from the same circle. They come together because I'm the common denominator, and I appreciate that from them. But I also understand that I can't rely upon them to fight to the death for each other, just like, two of us would do for one another, and vice versa. So it's worked out for me, as long as, I take into account setting up my expectations and my boundaries and things like that. It's hurt me a few times as well, but I think that's just trial and error. And that's really how you learn who you are as a person and who you are as a friend.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that you know who you are as a friend, and you're looking for someone that can not only fill your bucket, but can accept the way that you are in friendships. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's hard.
It is, but you know what? Like I said, I grew up trying to be everything for someone else and it not being enough. And so as an adult woman, I have to tell myself that if you don't like me, that's okay. You know, I want to be the best for you and I want to fight for you and I want to be your biggest champion. But if that's not good enough, then that's not on me. I can't put that on myself. I can't, you know, frustrate myself with those expectations. I have to come to an understanding that, you know, maybe it's just too much, you know, like maybe I'm not enough and that is okay. And it took me a long time to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always said that I don't trust someone that doesn't cuss. like, like if you're mad and you're like,
coffee? No.
You don't drink coffee and you don't cuss. I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah. And then there's the wine. If you don't like wine, we have nothing in common.
3 strikes, you're out. But I'm finding, but okay. So my problem, I should say that my problem was, I know that I don't like someone within probably one hangout, and I will sit there and have multiple. They don't know, the person that I'm friendship dating, right? They don't know that I don't like them. I'm trying to figure out if I'm wrong. Like, prove me wrong, bitch. Like, I don't like the way you talk to the waiter. I don't like how you literally just cut her off multiple of times. I don't like the fact that you're mean to your kids. And I don't like the fact that you have no empathy. But then that's one. It's like I'm almost trying to prove to myself that they're still a good person in there. So I'll continue to hang out with them. And then it sends like false messages because they're like, oh, Christine's a friend. And I'm like, actually, I'm really trying to figure out why you're a shitty person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to figure out why are you such a fucking piece of shit and you think we're friends. And I'm like, we're not friends. I actually really don't like you, but I keep hanging around you to figure out why I don't like you. And then I had to realize that that's a very selfish of me to do.
You know, I don't think that's necessarily selfish. I think that it's more like,
Alex, thank you. Here, make me feel good.
I don't think it's selfish at all. I think that that is more like you're trying to figure out, okay, so I know that there are these things that I don't like about this person, but what is it about them intrinsically that I can't stand, you know? Because if you keep going around and you keep hanging out with them, still trying to figure out what it is that you can put your finger on, it may not be just one thing. It may be literally everything. And that may be for you to understand at that moment in time.
That is true. Because I'm like, but she's so nice about this. And then it's like I almost moved my own boundaries. To let them prove me wrong. Like, I really don't want you to be a piece of shit of a person. Please prove me wrong. I should probably say it that way instead of like
trying to give them a chance rather than just automatically making that initial judgment and just saying, nope, X-nay on the friendship, you know? Like, it sounds more, not necessarily empathetic, but more, you know, like on a psychological level, trying to understand exactly what's going on with that person.
I'm so literal. I'm so like, I need to find the end of this. And I would say that it's one of those things that I'm still struggling with, because then I feel like kind of like you, like there's something wrong with me if I can't love this person for who they are. When it really is like, no, they're like, no one likes this person and there's a reason why. Because they do treat people like trash, you know, like they do absorb the room, and not in a good way, not in pushing out light, they're absorbing light. And it's taken a lot. I'm in a season right now though where I'm like, hey, let me relax on this and just let things happen. But I will say I have never been wrong about a person.
You have a good radar then.
But, and I tell my husband this, I'm like, within a year, I'll know. I have
Yeah.
never met someone on the first night and said I didn't like them and then not prove the reason why I didn't like them within a year. Normally
Really?
it happens within 6 months to 9 months, but within a year, I'm normally like, yeah, I,
Yeah,
I,
good
I,
answer.
yeah. It's really hard for someone to put up a fake facade for so long.
Oh, I mean, I can imagine, but I don't see it as you putting up a fake facade. I mean, I
Oh,
see
I
it.
mean them.
Oh, them. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I think that's just who they are, you know? And
Hmm.
like whether it be a facade or not, you really do start to see who people are. And I think that you can kind of grasp that more the longer that you're around them. So
Yeah.
giving them more time to really prove you wrong or prove you right, whichever way it's going to go, is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's kind of a good trait for you to have.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Okay.
You know, because it's like, I know there's been people that have met me the first time and they're like, wow, she's a lot.
Oh, girl, that's
She's
life.
right. She's a lot. And I was actually talking to my bestie about this back in July, and it was like, what kind of person are you when you're making friends? Like, do you give them all of you, or do you try to like hold back to see what they're like first? Like, what do you do in that situation? Are you like, I am Alex to 100%, take it or leave it? Or
Oh,
are
yeah.
you like, oh, I want to see who you are?
No, I'm the one that's like, this is me. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to do everything that you would not expect me to do upon the first time hanging out with me. Just
Yes.
that's who I am. And like I am no longer willing to compromise who I am as a person or to change myself and what I say and what I do and what I believe in just to see
Hmm.
what you're going to say back, you know?
Right.
Like this is what I am, this is what I believe. If you don't like it, that's fine. And if we can't come to a common understanding and still agree to disagree, then bye,
Yeah.
you know?
Agreed. I'm like, I'm 110% over the top, Christine, first time you meet me, just so I can see if you can handle it or not.
Yeah. It's like if you can't handle me over the top the first time we meet, how are you going to handle me when I'm drunk, girl? Like,
Yeah.
where do we go?
Like, if I can't tell you that, like, I had a fart and it stunk and I had to roll down the windows on my way here, then can I tell you anything else?
Right.
Like, can I tell you about this time or this time? Nope, I can't tell you any of that. The fart story bothered you too much. We're not going to be friends. You're not my people.
That is so funny. Oh my God.
You know, like, I have to be that person because then I know.
Uh-huh.
If they can say, oh, okay, yeah, I've had that done before, or like, okay, yeah, I don't do this and this and that, and or if they're just like, it's like, oh, okay. So either two things are happening. One, you're not comfortable in yourself to be honest about your past or what you're going through. Or two, you don't understand yourself to know or to be honest that you are the same person I am. You just don't want to talk about it.
That's beautiful, actually, to say that maybe they just don't understand themselves. I mean,
Yeah,
that's quite a big thing to think on, I think.
right.
That really, that makes me ponder, you know? It really does. And there's many times where like I'm never speechless, but like, you know, thinking about things like that, it does make me wonder, like, is it that people just really aren't that self-aware? Or is that they are so self-aware that they really just don't care?
Right. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably because they're not that self-aware.
Yeah.
And I also have to have the belief, and I try to hold the belief that it's not their fault.
Mm-hmm. No,
It's not
that's
their fault.
a mindset to have, you know, because if you go around like blaming everyone and thinking, you know, like, oh, this is totally your fault that you can't be open and honest about who you are as a person, you don't really know what their life and what their struggles have been. So, you know, you can't really say that this is how you should be without knowing the backstory and the background.
Right. You know, I have friends that like, I'm a lover of the strip club. I am a freaker drinker at the strip club. I love strip clubs. Like, it's
Yeah.
something that I feel like the buffet. Thank you.
And it's got to be the morning buffet. Okay.
Yeah.
At midday.
Exactly. But if someone that's like, ew, gross, I can't go to strip clubs, blah, 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 blah. I have the belief of, I know it's a meme and a funny saying, it's like, who hurt you? But but if you really think about it, if you've had sexual abuse, or if you've been sex trafficked, or if you've had a moment where you did not feel safe around men and you were made to do things that you didn't want to do, the strip club, yeah, it's probably not the best place for you.
Right.
So I can't say, oh, she's not going to be my friend because she doesn't like strip clubs, or, she can't be my best friend because she doesn't like cussing. That's not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
That is a belief that she's holding. People that cuss are angry people. People that cuss are bad people, or they're dirty people, whatever her belief might be. So I had to change my belief on why they might not like the things that I do.
Yeah.
And hearing your story makes me believe, oh, she's an extrovert like me. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
There's a reason why. Yeah, we're both Geminis, but there's a reason why she's an extrovert. There's a reason why I'm an extrovert. We can easily change those throughout our childhood.
Yes.
But thank you for sharing, and thank you for letting me build on your share.
Yes.
I'm having fun, girl. I do know that you have a love letter from your bestie.
So yes, I wrote her one, and then she wrote me one, and I have not read hers yet. So
yes.
I was going to read what I wrote to her, and then read what she wrote to me, and then see how they kind of compare.
Yes, that's what I want. I want to hear all of this.
Okay.
So which one are you going to read first?
I'm going to read what I wrote to her first.
Okay. Did you write to her first, or did she write to you first?
I wrote mine first.
Oh,
I didn't send it to her until this morning, though. And she sent me mine this morning, but I have not read it yet.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm ready.
All right. So our little thing is we call each other lobster because lobsters mate for life. So we're like for life.
It's so sweet.
Dear Lobster, life before Jen was an adequate one, but it always felt so unfulfilled. I knew what real friendship was supposed to feel like, despite struggling for so long to make simple and meaningful connections with other women. I knew what I wanted and deserved in a best friend, and I was aware that I had set the bar quite high for the person who I would choose to do bestie life with, if I ever came across her. I always told myself that what I wanted, what I needed, what I was determined to have would be impossible to find because people aren't made to fit into your expectations. They are made so you can adapt those expectations into a reality that you can accept and alter into a relationship that satisfies the both of you. And I wasn't really ready to alter my expectations for anyone until I met Jen. Dearest Jen, I think you deserve the world, yet somehow I don't think you always see that. But I want you to know I often find myself wondering what I did to deserve you. You taught me what a soulmate really is, and I wouldn't be able to survive without having you in my life. You come into people's lives with a purpose and you change them. You make every single person around you better without even realizing it. You're the type of person that someone can only live without if they've never lived with them in their life before.
Oh,
you light up every room and lift up every single person around you. People need you, and that's because you'll hold them while they cry and then be ready to beat down the person that made them cry 10 minutes later. You'll make them laugh even when they're sad, and you'll forgive them for what they said when they were mad. You believe in them even when they don't believe in themselves. You're there for them even when they haven't always been there for you. And you care for them because you care for them before you even care for yourself. You get to know them down to their very core, even when they're hard to get to know. You go to war for the people that you love, and you do it without even thinking. Love isn't an option for you. It's just who you are, and it makes you the most beautiful soul I have ever known. Because your love isn't fearful or weak. It's the most powerful force that I have ever felt, indestructible and unconditional. But you're not only what everyone else around you needs. You're all that you need, because you are so much stronger than you have even begun to realize. You're honest and caring. You're hilarious and intelligent. You're strong and compassionate. You're beautiful and you're so fucking powerful. You change people, but you don't let people change you, and don't ever let them. Never let any single person come into your life and make you believe that you ever have to be more of anything, because you're already more than all of us combined. I want to thank you for always being closest to me, even when we were forced to be separated and in separate stages of life. Thank you for not letting us get split up by dumb facts like distance or time. Thank you for never giving up on our friendship, for never shrugging and being like, things change, people change, and drifting away vaguely because we're victims of circumstance. We all get distant to a certain degree when we make huge transitions, but you didn't let me get very far because you knew what was truly important. Thank you for believing in me when I was too weak and exhausted to believe in myself. Thank you for pushing me, for repeating those affirmations that don't mean anything in inspirational films, but mean everything when someone who cares about you says them. Thank you
Yes.
for not judging me when I did something stupid, but also thank you for telling me I was an idiot and probably shouldn't have done that stupid thing. She's really good at that part.
Oh.
Thank you for always being honest. Thank you for doing all the things a real best friend does, for letting me sob into your shoulder when I need to, and for handing me the flask when there aren't any more words. Thank you for always knowing who I am and reminding me of that when I forget. Thank you for being genuinely concerned with the outcome of my life and for always listening, even when you're tired. Thank you for telling me the things no one wants to hear and for sparing me all the bullshit advice. I can't think of many other people I'd actually take a bullet for. And I know you will never see in yourself the way that I know you will never see yourself in the way that I have written here, but just know that I see it in you every single day. It's why you deserve the world, because you change it in the most breathtaking of ways. Love, Lobster. I know, I'm sappy. Are you crying? Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have so many relationships that we are given. So not only that you are willing to express that to her, but you're willing to share that with us.
Of course. I think that everyone has someone like this in their life. I think that it's important to have someone like Jen in your life, because you don't really know what true friendship is until you've had to separate that friendship and take a step back from that person without it being your choice. Like there was a point in our friendship where she was married to a really terrible man, I'll say. And at one point he forced us to stop communicating and stop being friends. And it was about a year that we didn't see each other. We didn't talk. We didn't communicate. She blocked my phone number. She blocked me on social media. And I was devastated. I was so heartbroken. Because like I said, until I had met Jen, I didn't really know what a real friend was supposed to be like. Mm-hmm. And to have that taken from me so quickly and, without me having any say in it was probably one of the most difficult things I've ever had to go through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a vulnerability, right? And it's like polygamy. Right? Like I might not have 15 husbands or even 2 husbands, but I can have 2 best friends. Right. I can have 2 friends that feel me in different ways. I'm going to try to collect myself. I'll let you read her letter because I know this is going to be raw for you because you haven't read it yet.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and let you do that. I'm going to mute myself so that I can let you feel your feel.
Okay, here we go. All right, our friendship. I knew this wouldn't be easy, but not because I don't understand our friendship, but because we are both quite complex. For me, there is life before Alex and life after Alex. I knew at the time before I met Alex that something was missing. I couldn't figure out if it was the tension in my marriage, the endometriosis, or I was just an unhappy stay-at-home mom, or maybe it was all of it. I remember when I met Alex, I immediately felt a connection and hoped my awkwardness wouldn't weird her out. We quickly noticed all of the things we had in common, and the way we are different balanced everything out. I was broken, tired, lonely, and sad when I met Alex, and she brought light and joy back into my life. Alex understood everything I felt and knew at times I just needed her by my side. We bonded over an autoimmune disease we both have and raising our girls who were both toddlers at the time. As our friendship grew stronger, my own self-worth and confidence grew. I was at a point in my marriage that I knew I needed to get out, and she helped me build the courage to do so. At one point, my ex-husband banned me from having Alex in my life. I went from having her in my life to being lonely and back in a very dark place. I believe it was about a year when I was laying in bed and swiping on a new app built for moms to make friends, aka Peanut. I was swiping for a while when I landed on Alex's face. It stopped me in my tracks and I gasped. She was looking for me like I was looking for her. Ooh, she will have to fill in the details of who reached out to who first, and I was in even worse shape than before, and I don't remember a lot. What I do remember is she was back in my life. My smile was back and the void was filling up. I finally left my ex-husband and began a new chapter with Alex by my side. I've never experienced a friendship like this. We can sit in complete silence and know what we are both thinking. Alex is a part of my soul, and I really believe that when we were both created, a piece of each of us was put into the other. She encourages me, inspires me, and knows every secret and fear of mine. Alex is everything I've always wanted in a best friend. Our lives are meant to be experienced together. When our kids are grown and our partner's gone, it will be me and Alex navigating each day as two women who are destined to go through life together. It's a special bond only Alex and I understand, and there's not anything in this world that can break it. She's my lobster, and I love her with every fiber in my body. Wow.
No.
That got me, man. Ooh.
Let's take a moment to sit and not. Like, I don't even know her, and I feel you. Oh shit.
I know,
Okay.
right?
Thank you for sharing this intimate moment with everyone, with me especially.
I'm
because
honored to do so.
We're on this app, not to say that we don't have friends, but we're looking for something that we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that y'all were separated, but yet y'all both realized you were looking for something deeper that you already once had, and it still came back to each other, filling that void.
Right.
That's special.
I mean, I agree. I've never had a friend like this. I've never been in this type of relationship with a woman where I felt like, you know, if my husband was to ever leave me, like she'd be my ride or die. I mean, she is my ride or die, but like I know that I can do life alone as long as I have Jen, you know, no matter what happens to me. I know that her and I will always get through things together. And you know, when we were not allowed to be friends, it was one of the most difficult time periods of my adult life. And as she said in her letter, she can't remember who, you know, really reached out to who and how it all happened. But I remember I reached out to her on Facebook. I searched for her one random day after I had seen her. I saw her on the Peanut app too. And like my heart stopped. And of course, like I didn't like it, you know, swipe or anything. I just left it there because I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? You know, it was almost like seeing like your soulmate and you're like, oh my God, like he's there. What do I do now?
Yeah.
So I saw her and I just like, I put the phone down. But then it took me maybe like 4 days. And I wrote her a letter and sent it to her on Facebook. And then we started having like a secret little affair that her husband didn't know. And we lived in the same neighborhood.
You guys were that close to each other.
Yeah, like it was so sad that when I would go to the pool with Melissa, because Jen's house was right across from the pool, I could see when she would come and go from her home. I would see her like daily, but not be able to talk to her.
Yeah.
She was in the neighborhood, and she would come pick me up, or you know, we would go meet somewhere in Van Alstyne or in Sherman or Denison, or where he wouldn't find us, and we would just hang out and talk. And you know, finally, when she was strong enough to leave him and strong enough to stand up to him, she told him, look, Alex is back in my life. You're not going to tell me that I can't be friends with her this time. This is what's going to happen. And then she ended up leaving him 2 months later.
Yeah. My soulmate got me out of my situation in a bad relationship. and I was a single mom, and I didn't have anyone. And she was the one that helped me pack my car to leave.
Yeah.
And she was going through things too, but she was able to push that aside because she knew that I needed to get out. So I feel her in knowing that she had to step up to him to say that you were still in her life. And if her words in that letter isn't enough, I'm going to still validate you and say it probably means more to her that she can't explain that she needed you at that moment.
Right.
You know, and we always talk about how we have friends, and if they don't like your man, or they don't do this and they don't do that, and they don't understand or respect your relationship, but the fact that you were just there for her when she, you know, that's the difference.
I mean, I literally was just waiting in the sidelines, you know, until she was ready. And I told her as much. I said, the day that you're ready to go, I'll drop everything and I'll be there. And we're going to make this work, and we'll do it while he's at work. We'll pack everything up. He'll come home and you'll be gone.
Right. And it's not necessarily that you need someone to say, oh, they're not a good for you, or I don't like him, or blah, 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 blah. But the fact that you were able to say, I will be here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a difference in mindset and in how she's able to take those next steps.
No, I agree with that. I see that, you know, for me, the most important thing in that moment and the moments leading up to that was just for her to know, like you said, that I will be here for you. It doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter what you need. It doesn't matter, you know, where I need to drive to, what I need to do for you. You just tell me and I will get it done. And, you know, reinforcing to her the fact that she was strong enough to where she could do this. She could walk away and she could start her life over.
Yeah. And I think too, like the fact that you saw your mother going through something like this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being in a relationship like that too, that changes a lot.
It does. It changes your view on relationships as a whole, you know. It really teaches you to take a closer look at what's going on, you know, behind the scenes, and to take it all in, and to realize that, you know, just because it appears like this one way, you know, like it in the front with the surface, behind all of that, there's so much more that you're just not aware of, that people cannot sometimes express until they're ready.
Right. And thank you for not giving up on y'all's relationship. Now there's two people that are in a relationship that belong. You're her lobster, she's your lobster. And if you wouldn't have given if you would have given up, she wouldn't have been able to have that lobster love that y'all have.
Right.
You know? Like, so thank you for not giving up on her and realizing like that's not her situation. It's just the situation she is in.
Yes. And I knew that all along. Because her husband was very much like my stepdad.
Oh, okay.
He was a narcissist. He took away her cards, her debit cards. Like, you know, she was expected to mop and sweep and make dinner and, you know, be the humble little housewife every day. But she was fighting this terrible autoimmune disease where she could barely walk some days.
Yeah.
I mean, she's had over 10 surgeries. I mean, she's had so much happen to her in that period of her life. And he just didn't care, you know. She had no one that really understood her.
Ugh. Okay, well, I could talk to you forever.
Oh, thank you.
And I've cried 3 times already. We've been talking for an hour. I've been crying this whole time. But are you ready for your Spitfire questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, what's your favorite color?
Green.
What's your favorite book?
Ooh, my favorite book would probably be, oh God, I've got a few. But right now, probably A Tale of Two Cities.
Oh, okay. I haven't gotten that one yet. Season 4, I haven't gotten that one yet, so that's awesome. Are you a spender or a saver?
Oh, spender girl.
Are you a good girl or a bad girl?
I'm a mixture. I'm a little bit of both.
Gemini.
I like to be a little naughty sometimes, but I try to be good,
What's your natural hair color?
Brown.
Who's your role model?
My role model, Lucille Ball.
Oh my God.
I love Lucy, man.
Why? Now I have that. Why is she your role model?
Because not only was she one of the first female comedians on TV that really did not care what people thought of her, she did what she wanted. She wrote her own shows. She wrote her own scripts. She was also a college professor, and she was insanely intelligent. And she set up a life for herself and for her family, and she did it under the whims of no one can tell me no. I am female. Hear me roar. I will do this, and I will leave a legacy.
Oh, Alex, don't make me cry again. Okay, so salsa. This is my Texas question. Salsa is a given. You automatically get chips and salsa.
Okay.
Or queso.
Guac or queso?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, guac.
Oh, okay.
Especially if it's got a shot of tequila in it. That's the best way to make guac.
Where the fuck are you getting guacamole with a shot of tequila?
How do I make it, girl? It's so good.
That's how I'm making it. Oh, okay. So
you'll love it.
So I'm coming over. If you were given $1 million, what would be the top 3 things you would do with it?
I would pay off my student loan debt. I would probably pay off any debt that my best friends or family had, because I would want to take care of them. And then I would buy something nice for my mom. I don't know what it would be, but I would do something great for her.
Yeah. Oh, love that. So normally I ask love language, and love language is normally in a romantic relationship. But now that we're doing friendship, what is your love language in friendships?
Definitely acts of service and words of affirmation.
So do you need that from your husband as well?
In different ways, but yes. It differs a little bit more, like, with my husband, it's more of like physical touch and acts of service, but words of affirmation kind of comes hand in hand with that sometimes, I think, because he is my biggest fan and he always lifts me up. But I think with friendship, it's more of a number one, like, proponent and what really draws me to someone.
Okay, yeah. Any plastic surgery?
No, but I would love to have my lips, some filler done. I want that so bad. And I do have permanent cosmetics. I've got my eyebrows tattooed on. My next step will be eyeliner, and then I'll do my lips. Other than that, no plastic surgery. I do want new boobs though. That would be awesome.
We all want new boobs.
I know, right? Breastfeeding. Ugh.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so Misty, she was on season 1, I believe. I just found out you can get like the tattooing of the color, like the makeup on your, and get the filler at the same time now.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know that. I thought it was like a process. Like, you get the color, then you get the filler, and then the color. But now they have it where you can do both at the same time.
I know. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Right. That's great.
Who's thinking of this? Biggest pet peeve?
Oh, people who don't use their blinkers on the highway. And people who chew with their mouths open. Oh my God, don't get me started.
I can't. I just want to be like, shut up, cow. Like, yeah.
Like, if I wanted to hear you crunching and munching, I would literally put a stethoscope on the side of your face. Better, but I don't want to hear that. That's so gross.
Oh my God, I love that's like, I just visually saw it. I heard what you said, and then I visually saw. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, is there anything you want to say to the listener that we have not covered yet?
I think the main thing I want to reiterate is just love yourself. Don't give up on the things that you want for yourself. And don't give up on the relationships that you want for yourself. And even if you've never had the type of relationship that you're yearning for, it can be out there for you. You just have to keep looking, and you have to be open to finding it. And I promise you that one day you will find someone who is your lobster or your penguin, because they mate for life too, you know.
All right, you got to meet Alex, and I am so glad that I was able to share my platform with her so she could really show us some friendship love. Oh my goodness, those letters at the end, I had to mute myself. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, Christine, do not. It's going to take away if all you're doing is boo-hooing through the whole last 10 minutes of the episode. But something that has always stuck to me during when we were recording this and then listening back and hearing her say, I didn't know what true friendship was until I met her, and then it was taken away from me. How many times have someone been able to do something for you, and it's not even a friend, like someone helped you at the grocery store, or you know, that one random person that was able to help you in a bind, and you wish that you were able to say thank you and you weren't able to, and you know, that opportunity had gone and left, and then you turn around and you kind of think about, like, who else could have called, you know? And we have seen, especially during COVID, people just gone, and we don't know if they actually knew how we felt about them. And so Alex kind of got a little taste of that, and you can hear within those two letters that their absence from each other and each other's lives had really, really hurt them. That's one thing about friendships I'm finding out as we're going through this season is it's different than a romantic relationship, right? You know, you can still mourn a friendship. A friendship can be just as strong, just as deep, and it can reach your soul. She also makes the statement, I believe that everyone has someone like this in their life. And it made me think, who is like that in my life? I know I have, you know, someone that we got tattoos together, you know, but who is that person in your life that you're like, if they left, I could not live, you know? And it's not your husband or your kids or a parent or a sibling, which, I mean, they can also be your best friends, but they also hold other titles. Who just has the title of friend, and it hits deeper, like that word friend hits deeper for you for that one person. Just something to think about. I want to say thank you to Alex and her sweet, sweet friend for writing that letter and allowing us to just feel their relationship. I told you, it's Anne and Diana. Like, I mean, I love Anne of Green Gables. I think they did a remake on Netflix, and it was good. But I'm the old school, like, you know, VHS, PBS version of Anne and Diana. But I am so grateful for her, and way to kick off season 4, right? I'm so excited. If you would like to connect with Alex, please go to our Facebook group, You Gotta Meet Her Podcast, where I will post a picture. She'll be in the group and she'll be able to connect with you. Please let her know how this episode touched you, and if there's any questions you have, I'm pretty sure she'll be willing to just be like, what's up, girl? Alex, I'm coming over for some guacamole and tequila. Never heard of that, but it sounds awesome. It's like 2 of my favorite things put together, so why not put her on a chip? And as always, you can go to my website, christinebarr.com, and Barr is spelled B-A-H-E, and we have some great things over there. If you're looking for some coaching, relationship, and transformation, I also have my Radical Crusaders coaching, and reach out to me and we can make some things work on some friendships, work on some transformations. Well, that's it for me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.